Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Today, I'm doing the class on mortgage information, the pre-qualification, pre-approvals, because Kelly is busy today. She's got her youngest daughter's college orientation. So I get to talk to you about mortgages. So, which is great. I love this topic. So I will try to keep it short, but it will be under a half hour because I cut my slides down from 10 to 5, and I'm going to give you a lot. This is very important topic. Not that you're going to pre-qualify people yourself, but things that you can ask and do. So I'm going to go through the 5 slides of basic information about the differences, and then I'm going to give you best practices. So let's jump right into it here. Okay. So today, pre-qualifications versus pre-approvals. So again, when we go through this, I'm going to give you the basic information, the differences, and at the end, very important, or if you're watching this and you kind of know the basics, skip to the end because going to give you, I want to wait to the end, give you the things of 33 years of experience as a broker in real estate, thousands of transactions every year, things that agents can do to help the lender, help get to the right lender, find out making sure the lender's doing the right things. Because if you're an agent that's been it for a while and you've never had a deal fall through at the end, there's things that you could have done and asked for to check the lender's work. Because not all lenders are created equal. Sometimes they miss things. Sometimes they're new. Sometimes there's agents out there that know almost more about mortgages than some lenders. Not that because they're lenders, they're new loan officers and they're not asking the right questions. So let's jump right in this. Pre-approvals versus pre-qualifications, what every realtor needs to know. Understand the financing process helps avoid deal issues. Buyers often confuse pre-qualifications with pre-approvals. Sellers prefer strong, verified buyers. Proper preparation saves time and frustration. Financing strength can help with win in multiple offers. And pro tip, always ask buyers for updated pre-approval letters before showing homes seriously. So going through each one of these, understanding the financing process, you should learn about finance. You took the finance in classes if you're a newer agent, but things have changed. Always, you should have a refresher with a trusted lender, just not turning you into a loan officer, but just giving you basic things that you can ask buyers to see if they're going to be able to be pre-approved, pre-qualified, and just knowing the process so you're not in the dark. Uh, Buyers come to agents all the time. Oh yeah, I'm pre-approved. Well, where's the letter? See the letter. If it's a real pre-approval, you're gonna get a letter from somebody, or they're just pre-qualification. And again, we're gonna go through that. Of course, sellers prefer strong financial buyers. Example, and I'm going to go off on some tangents here, but it's about finance and how to win multiple offers, and we're going to have a class on that later. But example, when we have different purchase agreements, different areas of Ohio, because unfortunately we wish we used all the same purchase agreement. But in some purchase agreements, some agents ask, well, why do I have to put down a down payment? Why does that matter to the seller? Well, usually a higher down payment makes a more qualified buyer. Not always, but it does. Having them pre-approved with a bank or mortgage company that at least the other agent knows of and has done business with. Also, being with a trusted lender, not just lender. Example, I know for a fact that listing agents that have bad experience with lenders, unfortunately, sometimes they use it for the whole company. Oh my gosh, this mortgage company is terrible. No, it's maybe the lender, the loan officer didn't do a good job, or maybe it was out of their control. You never know. But sometimes they stigmatize banks and mortgage companies. So, off on a little tangent here. Good tip, write this down. Before you submit an offer, talk to the listing agent, especially if it's multiple offers, said, hey, by the way, we have a pre-approval from bump, bump, mortgage company bank. And that lender, if that listing agent go, oh my God, I just can't stand it. Oh, I love that company. It could affect how that offer is presented. So I know I went off on a little tangent there, but there's so many some agents just think, the buyer comes in, they get pre-approved from some company. That's good enough. Not always. There's so many little things you should be thinking about. Proper preparation, prepare the buyers before. Financing strengths can help win multiple offers. Again, how example, I always suggest for lenders to, my opinion, when it's our buyer, contact the listing agent when and say, hey, and just solidify how good these buyers are right from the lender. So again, you present your offer, and all of a sudden the listing agent gets a call from the lender. Hi, this is Tony with ABC, mortgage company or bank. I just want to let you know I have them pre-approved. I have all their documentation. I have their credit report pulled, a tri-merge of all their information. They are solid. And I'm here for you as a lender to help communicate with you. So if you need anything. So now you have two people over here talking to the listing agent, and that it helps. It helps. So it's financial strength, not just the financial strength of the strength of the mortgage company or loan officer on your side helping you. Always, again, pro tip, always ask your buyer for updated because they're only good. Let me just say this, a pre-approval letter we'll just stick with the pre-approval letter is good for, I would say, what do you think of it? How long is a pre-approval good for? Whatever you said, it's wrong. A pre-approval is good for about 30 seconds. That's the honest truth. There is no guarantee. If anything changes between the time they give that lender all of their information, all of a sudden, the next day, there's a judgment against them and their credit goes down. Also, there's no such thing as a final loan approval until the loan closes. Don't scare anybody, but there because this rarely happens. Some listing agents, I should do a video on this. Go, I need the final loan approval. There is no such thing until the deal closes and the money is funded. We've had buyers on both sides, other buyers, our buyers, the day before closing. I know this happened once. I swear this happened. One of our buyers got approval, got everything done the day before he or she, I don't remember for who it was a husband or wife, I know it was husband or wife, decided to quit their job the day before. Do you know what their job did? Notified the lender, probably out of spite, said, hey, by the way, they don't have a job anymore. The day before closing, they thought they were in the clear. I have an approval letter. Got killed. So I'm sorry, I'm going into tangents and stories. So pre-qualification, basic estimate of buying power, usually based on unverified information, can often be completed quickly online or by phone. Credit and income may not be fully reviewed. Helpful as an early conversation starter. Pro tip, a pre-qualification should not be treated as a final loan approval or even a pre-approval. So pre-qualification is just say, hey, what do you think your income is? Do you know your income? And yes, I know I'm going off on tangents. I'm going to keep on saying this. People's income today is so much more difficult than it was 30 years ago when I got in the business. Before, everybody, here's your pay stub, here's your W-2, you've been on the job this long, done. There's your income. We have it right in front of you. Today, people have overtime. There's uh, uh, some people have jobs. Part of it's W-2. Some of it is 1099 and commission. Some of them are bonuses. Some of them are overtime. So to give you an example, some people are like, well, I make X amount a year. Great. And then they get to the lender. This is a key. This is a very important thing and things that you should know about. If someone says, "Yeah, I make $100,000 a year," well, great. What did you make last year or the year before? 40. What's the difference? Well, I got overtime. I've been working overtime. Okay, big tip here with that. Someone made 50, they decide to work hard, work overtime. That lender is going to send a letter to the verification of employment to their employer, verifying that their overtime will continue for the future, or a certain period of time, maybe a year, 2 years. I don't know the exact time because it could be different. Kelly would have been able to answer that. But a lot of times that employer will come back and say, we can't guarantee any overtime. Boom, out. Doesn't count as income because it can't be guaranteed. Now they're back down to $50,000 a year, and that buyer doesn't understand it. That's the difference between a pre-qualification and pre-approval. A pre-qualification, the lender might have just asked, or you asked, how much you make? 100,000. Really, they make 50,000. The other 50 is not guaranteed, and a lender might probably won't lend based on that income. Does that make sense? Or self-employment. A lot of people pay themselves different ways through their company. Whole nother video on self-employment, but someone says, I make X amount, but their tax returns say something else. So a lender might pre-qualify them because they didn't ask for their income verifications based on what they said. So, question, when you get a pre-qualification or someone said I'm pre-qualified, talk to the lender. Did you verify their income? Is all of their expenses or all of their income going to be has been around for over 2 years or plus? Is it W-2? Is it a commission? You could ask these questions before you start spending your time. But a good pre-approval is much is better. Next. Uh, Buyers submit income pre-approvals. I'm sorry, I have a screen right, right in the middle of the words. Buyers submit income, assets, credit documentation. They pull their credit. Lenders reviews financial information more thoroughly, provides a stronger estimate of loan eligibility, gives sellers more confidence in buyers, helps buyers understand realistic price range. Strong pre-approvals can make offers stand out against competing buyers. Exactly is this. Another question, and I don't think it's on one of these slides. Some buyers and buyers agents play the game, which is not a good game to play in this market. Just put on the pre-qualification. Say someone's buying a $300,000 house and they're approved for 500,000. Then they go, hey, by the way, don't put $500,000 on the pre-approval. They're approved up to 500,000. Just put 300 because we don't want the seller to know they're approved for more and they'll ask for more. That Please don't take this the wrong way if you play this game and you're an experienced agent, but this is the not smartest game in the business. Don't do that. I would never, if I had two offers that were identical and my listing agent came to me. I go, Tony, I got two competing offers. One, they're pre-approved for 300,000 and the house is 300,000. And this one's pre-approved for 500,000 and they're offering the same amount of money. What should I do? Go with the 500,000. They're more well qualified. This person is at their limit. If one little debt, if all of a sudden all of a sudden the taxes on the house are not on the MLS correctly and they run the numbers and they barely qualify, please, buyers, agents, don't do that. Have your pre-approval the highest amount possible. The only the reason behind that is that there's limited inventory. This is not the game to play with. Where I say that game plays with when there's so many buyers out there, I mean, listings out there. It's a buyer's market. It's a buyer's market. And you go into a house and they're just desperate to sell their house because there's 20 other houses on their street for sale and the house is 300,000 and your people are say it's listed for 325. And we used to play this game. 325. the house is listed for, and we think we could get it for 300. So we tell lender, please put their pre-approved for 300,000 on there. So we tell them, hey, by the way, they're approved for 300. We're not lying. We're just negotiating. We don't want to tell them they're approved for 500, but so can we lower the price to 300 because they're approved for 300 and they're just desperate to sell. But if you say they were pre-approved, so we can't go higher. That's the point. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my buyer can only go up to 300. That's their max. They can't go up a cent higher. You'll have to lower your price. That was the game of negotiations you used to play with. This is not the market to do that. Pre-qualifications are less verified. Key differences. Pre-approvals require documentation, review. Pre-approvals carry more weight with sellers. Financing surprises are less common with pre-approvals. Serious buyers should obtain pre-approvals early before writing offers. Confirm the lender has reviewed all major documents. Okay, the pre-approval. I get this question often from when coaching agents is that I have these buyers, they want to go see houses, but they're not pre-qualified. They don't want to get pre-approved before. They just want to go see this house. I say this. Yes, a house or two when it's your first house or two because it's quick, say, but so I say, give them the first one for free. The first night, the first day of showing houses. If you have a buyer, I don't want to get pre-qualified, pre-approved right now. I just really want to go see the house tonight, tomorrow. Can we just go? No problem. We'll go just to get them in the door. Next, now they have time. At least 24 hours. You're not going to go see houses the next morning. You have time to get pre-qualified, pre-approved. I say pre-approved, basically explain to this, not you, but you want it, but you don't have to pay me. It's the market. Today's sellers will not accept an offer from you without a pre-approval. I wouldn't if I had multiple offers or if I had an agent, I'm a listing, I'm telling you as a listing broker, listing agent has an offer, buyer puts in an offer on my listing you don't have a pre-approval. Well, let's just approve, let's just accept this, right, sign it, then they'll go get a pre-approval. No, not putting my seller in that position. We're gonna keep the house on the market. You guys better hurry up and get that approval done before another buyer comes in because I want a serious buyer that is serious enough that they talk to a lender before they even looked at houses. Does that make sense? There's really technically, or my opinion, that no seller should accept any offer from his buyer that doesn't have a pre-approval because why risk it? Just tell them you could get one in about a day, no or less, if you have all your documentation together. Why would I put myself in that position as a seller? Still happens out there, but so the point being is you educate your buyer, say, listen, if we find the house of your dreams and there's other buyers and you're not ready with a pre-approval with our offer, we're going to write it up fast. You're going to lose that house. I don't want that to happen to you. You need to get a pre-approval so we're ready. And usually those pre-approvals are good for, on paper, 90 days. Good. You're good for 90 days, but they have to show skin. But you just don't tell them, you don't have to tell them, I'm not going to show you any more houses to see. I know if you're pre-approved, we're going to think that we're going to think it, but we might not do it. We use it as the other side of why on the seller and the listing agent. Best practices for realtors: connect buyers with trusted lenders early, encourage buyers to avoid major purchases during escrow, verify approval letters, and current and accurate, maintain communication with lender throughout the deal, educate buyers about financing expectations. A strong lender partnership can help save difficult transactions and create smoother closings. Now, make sometimes lenders don't say this and don't tell people, don't make any purchases. Again, some buyers, when they don't, it doesn't get drilled in their head from the loan officer. Do not do anything. Do not do anything. Don't buy anything big. Don't apply for a credit card. Don't get a loan. Don't get any furniture. Don't buy. Okay, two things that sometimes buyers forget. They buy something. What I mean by that is even though they have the money, all of a sudden they go, "Oh, I'm going to buy some furniture," and they take whatever. I'm just throwing out a number, $10,000 out of their account, even though they still have some in there for the down payment and things. Sometimes they take out too much because the lender is going to verify before closing that they have the funds needed to close, but now they don't have enough cushion in there because the lender wants to see minimum 3 months of payments in liquid funds. So say again, round numbers, the payment 5,000 a month total for everything. You better have $15,000 in your bank. So they know as soon as you pay today, sign today and close today, you have leftover at least 3 months to pay your payment, because you're going to have expenses. You can't go down to zero, and sometimes buyers forget that. Other things, sometimes they think they're doing something good, or a couple things, doing something good. Oh, you know what's going to be good? I got extra money. I got my bonus. I'm going to pay off this credit card. Whoa, you paid off a credit card. Now the lender, what I'm trying to say, wants to know because they look at all your money. They go, where did that money come from? Did you get a loan? Did you move money around? Did you get like another credit card to pay off this credit card? Did you borrow money? Did you again? What happened? Why did that credit card get paid? And sometimes when you pay off a credit card, yeah, you like to do it because, oh wow, look at it, paid off credit, but it affects your credit. So that kind of thing happens. So let me stop sharing so you could see me. So that's another thing is that paying off a credit card, bad because it could have a good financial decision, but it could lower your credit score. Or even worse, closing a credit card. Do you know closing a credit card can lower your credit? So a lot of lenders will say, please don't close any credit cards. You think that that'll help you, but sometimes that hurts you on that. Um, uh, moving moving money around. Just this happens because again, there's so many little things. When if a loan officer does say, please don't move your money, all of a sudden, because they re-verify your money, making sure all of a sudden there's not big deposits or big things. All of a sudden, they see a big deposit in there from wherever. It doesn't matter. Just, oh, if someone gave me some money. Where did that money come from? Now they have to verify where that money came from, or move accounts. They just verified the buyer on all of their down payment monies in U.S. Bank, and then right a couple weeks before closing, they go, "Yeah, I'm changing the Chase," and they want, okay, get us your statements from U.S. Bank, and they go, "Oh no, I closed that account." A lender will go, "Oh my gosh, why did you close that account?" I got a better rate in savings account at Chase." Okay, now get the Chase account. Okay, and then what is the Chase account? Just has a big dollar amount. Okay, now we got to verify, get the canceled checks, get the wire verification that you wired the money or move. How did you move the money? That again, they want to verify that the money didn't get come from somewhere else. So the whole point of these stories is there's so many little things that sometimes us we want, and I'm going to put that on our website, but also call me and I'll be happy to go over this, that some things that you can say or do to not be a loan officer, but tell people to make sure their lenders telling them this because it happens all of a sudden right before closing. They move money around. They close a credit card. They buy something, take money out of their account, but still have enough, but might not just have enough of reserves. They call them to, they a lender's not going to lend, say they're going to bring $20,000 to closing, and they have barely 20,000 in liquid assets. They're not going to get approved. They have to have some a little extra money on that, or sometimes. Okay, this is another a big one. Again, there's so many. Sorry, I'm telling all these stories. You could write them down. So, uh, people think they have money in their investment account, so they call an agent, and or again, really basic pre-qualification. I have $50,000 to put down on a house. Great, and then no one says where. Where is it? Is it? You could ask it. Oh, if it, where is it? And they go, oh yeah, it's in a savings account, check account. Is it liquid? Great. That's good. If they go, I have it in an investment account or IRA or a retirement account. Okay, might be possible. Is that all you have in there? Or, you could ask the question. And one of the questions is, oh, great. My number one thing anybody says in an investment account, in a retirement account, have you spoken to your financial advisor about taking that money out? 99 times out of 100, they go, no, that's my money. I could take it out anytime. No, you can't. If anybody knows about your your retirement account, you can't just take, well, you can, but there's penalties, there's fees, and you have to pay taxes on it. So what happens sometimes is buyers come in, they tell, I got 50,000. The lender doesn't ask enough questions. They do a pre-qualification. You get a lender that just, not doing a real pre-approval and takes that as face value. And then they put offers on the house, get it approved, and then right a couple weeks into the loan, they call up their financial advisor or the company they have that money and go, oh, by the way, I just bought a house. We're closing in 2 weeks. I need to take 50,000 out of my retirement account. And they go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you know that you're going to have to pay if you don't replace that money, you're going to have to pay 20, whatever your tax bracket is, percent on that money after you take it out. Well, I don't have that extra money. Well, then you don't want to do that. And then they convince them you don't want to take that money out. You're going to get taxed on it. You're going to have to pay that taxes when your taxes are due, next April. And they go, oh my gosh. And then they find out I really don't have that liquid funds. So the point of stories like this is having a trusted lender, loan officer that is going to look at all of these things. And it's never a problem till there's a problem. And again, there's no really bad lenders, or they would be or mortgage companies or banks, or they would be out of business and wouldn't do loans. But there are some not so thorough loan officers out there, especially the ones you just get. I called, the Financial Network of America Mortgage Division out of, Oklahoma, and they advertise the best rates. Who knows who's answering the phone and what they're going to do. So these are some examples of things and how or why you need a good loan officer. What a little bit you get the differences between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. How important it is really the pre-approval should be done. My suggestion is, get this lot buyers, want to go see and they don't want to do all the work. Maybe the first time, wait, say you got time now, blame it on the sellers because this is what it is. I say this uh, to agents to say on all of my listings, you could just use your own experience. When I represent the seller, I would never accept an offer without a pre-approval. And that's how we practice and most listing agents practice, because they wouldn't give their sellers the advice of someone that they don't even know if it could qualify for the house. So you need to get it. And that in today's market with the limited inventory and sometimes multiple offers, the good news is the buyers kind of see that because they understand it a little bit better. When it's a buyer's market and there's tons of houses for sale, those sellers, those listing agents, they just want an offer. Just give me an offer. This house has been sitting for 6 months. I just need something, please. Just give me anything. I don't care if you're pre-approved, nothing. Let's throw it against the wall and see if you stick, type of thing on that. So I'm just summarizing some of the tips outside of my slides here. Also, the amount, please, pre-approval, put the maximum amount. It's a negotiation. So if you have a buyer that says, I don't want to show them, I go, and that's my job as your agent. I'm going to negotiate. We're not going to overpay for this house. Ooh, see, another story. You're not going to overpay for this house. I'm going to negotiate the best price, but we need to show how strong you are as a buyer on that. We can't go in there and go, oh, by the way, you're buying this house and you barely qualify, barely. If you want, say it's 300, okay, maybe 400 you can prove. You don't have to show 500, but you don't want to play that game of, hey, I'm barely approved on that. Next, again, sometimes I get buyers that are worried, well, I'll overpay for a house. If you're getting a loan, a mortgage on a house, I tell buyers, and you don't put any type of contingency like this or appraisal waiver. If you've heard that term, if you ever need to know more information, what it is a house is selling 300,000, but it might not appraise for 300,000, but the market value is 300,000. Okay, I'm going off on another tangent here. What's the difference between market value and appraised value? Well, and I just had this with an agent. Hope she's not watching, but or I hope she is watching. But she had a house. She has a beautiful house listed, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, big house, square feet's there, but the house there backs up to a park. The lot's bigger. This house is better than any 3 bedroom in the area, but it won't appraise for the 3 bedroom because it's a 2 bedroom. But someone will pay that value because of the market value, not the appraised value. So that, and I tell you, well, you're going to have to find someone that could get an appraisal waiver, and they have to have the lender's approval for that. Examples, if it's a $200,000 house and those people are approved for 400,000, they're buying a $200,000 house and they have 200,000 in cash in the bank and they're putting 50% down, that lender is going to go, okay, you're fine. If it doesn't appraise for 200, you have the money to make the difference. Say it comes in 20,000 less. If someone's barely approved, they're not going to let them go through with the loan. But if they have an extra 20,000, they move the down payment around. Okay, okay, well, we'll cover the difference. It can be done. So back to the question is, um, uh, uh, you can't overpay for a house unless you write in there appraisal waiver that it will continue to buy the house no matter what the appraised value is. I will come up with the difference between the appraised value and the purchase price, and that buyer has lender approval. Do they have lender approval? All right, branch off the tangent. Do if you're a listing agent and buyer writes in there, oh, look it says appraisal waiver. Great. You need to get a pre-approval saying that. It's not worth its weight of that paper. Just have a buyer write, look it, you're going to buy the house. But if they can't get approved from the lender to buy it, this happens sometimes. It's not going to go through. The financing kicks in. You can write anything you want on there. The buyer can, but then the financing kicks in and they don't have the funds to do it, or they're not, the lender won't allow them. And then they get kicked out. I've had this happen several times. Nothing recently, but I've had our listing agents call us and go, "Hey, Tony, these buyers, they wrote appraisal waiver, but now their loan's done. What goes on?" Like it's loan's denied. The deal's dead. You didn't ask the lender, can they do it? Buyer could say whatever they want, but the lender is the most important part of that. So back to the main thing was can't I don't want to overpay for a house. The bank's going to come out and do an appraisal based on the appraisal. If the appraisal comes in low, basically that is a loan denial. The bank's not going to move forward with that. They know appraisal came in 30,000 less. We're not lending on this. You're buying it too much. Your financing contingency comes in, the deal's dead, or you renegotiate with the seller. So so I always tell buyers there's no way to overpay. Now, I'm sorry, I love this topic and I'm going to talk a little bit more. So if you lose you, no problem. But I have so many stories and so many good tips with these kind of things. Is that when a appraisal comes in, I tell this to a listing agent. Hey, this one is, I got 4 offers at 300,000 for my $300,000 listing. I got this one at 340. Well, why are they so high? They know it. Well, they really want it. Well, these are times, without going for a 20-minute tangent on this one, call me. What we have, let's analyze what they're doing. They might be a legitimate buyer. Had this happen last year, the house was like 50, gosh, it was like $350,000 house, and these people were offering like 400 and a quarter. It was 75,000 over because there's multiple offers. I'm like, why are they so high? Well, and the agent called me and said, this sounds, spidey senses are going up. What's going on? agent called me and I said, "Well, what's going on?" I go, "This house, this guy, the husband is a veteran. He's disabled. This house is handicap accessible, ramps everywhere, everything's perfect. You know, they don't have to do a thing to this house. They want this house, and again, it's handicap accessible. Obviously, you don't have to be handicapped to buy the handicap accessible house, but this house is so much more valuable to a buyer that is handicapped, right?" And they were saying, "Please, there's no inspections, no nothing. We want the house. We want to make sure we're getting it. We're pre-approved. The lender says they're pre-approved. They can do appraisal waiver, doesn't matter. They're getting it good." That's a good scenario. That one went fine. Everything they paid 75,000 over the listing price because they wanted it that bad. I met their needs. Now, other times some buyers come in and go and play the game. I'm going to come in at 50,000 over asking, and then the listing agent doesn't ask for an appraisal gap and doesn't and then they say and then the appraisal comes in at 300 and now we're stuck. Now the buyer's going, "Okay, sorry, 300. This is what you're back down to what your listing price was. And, I can't get the financing. So unless it goes 300, now you're stuck. You got to go back to your seller and go, well, and they're mad because they wanted that extra 50,000 and you didn't explain to them, hey, if it doesn't sell for, if it doesn't appraise for 350, we're not going to be able to get this appraised for 350. So these are things, call me because I could help you with these types of things. But the point of why I'm telling these stories are all related to the lender. So it doesn't matter. The buyer could say anything. I want to buy it for 350, 400 is a $300,000 listing. And the lender is still the most important person because they have to approve the loan. So if the appraisal comes in low, it kicks in. Doesn't matter what the buyer writes because they still have the contingency on paper. Now, if they're buying cash, that's a whole different story and that kind of thing. So I don't want to take up more of your time today, but I just want to hopefully you understand the basics of a pre-qualification, the basics, what a pre-approval is, using the right lenders, but be educated, learn a little bit more about the processes and the procedures so you could have that conversation with the lender. And any good loan officer that you build a relationship was happy to tell you some of the things like, hey, like call Kelly. She'll be happy to talk to you. Hey, call Kelly and say like, hey, Kelly, can you give me some of the things? Send me a list of things that you like to know about a buyer that would make your life easier, faster pre-approvals, everything. So I could ask the buyer things that I could ask a buyer before I even waste any time on them about their loan. You are as a real estate agent, you can't give loan advice, quote rates, quote payments, and all that, but you can pre-qualify buyers. You can. I mean, you can't write them a letter that, hey, you're pre-qualified, but in your head. And in our MLS, we have mortgage calculators and things like that. So you can do a mortgage calculator. Hey, I want to buy, example. I'm sorry, I love this topic. Someone says some people are so payment oriented. Well, right on realtor.com or these websites, what does it have right underneath? You look at it, it tells them what their estimated payment are. Well, you can give that to somebody. If someone says, hey, I want to see this house. Well, great. Let's see this. Bump, bump, bump. The average rate says and in the calculators are it. Or you could just be lazy and just go on realtor.com and put that stuff in. Don't tell them you're doing that, but I'm just giving advice. Go, oh yeah. So if you buy that house, no matter if you're qualified, not qualified, whatever, your payment's probably going to be around $3,500. Oh, I don't want to pay 3,500. Okay, then let's not go see that house because even if we afford it, that payment, because based on the average interest rate now, the down payment you're telling me, the taxes, so you can do a little work because that doesn't you're not quoting them a rate. You're not saying what it is. You're just giving them the information that's right on realtor.com that shows them the what the estimated payment would be, and verbally tell them. You don't have to, don't do it by text and things that might, they might say, hey, you said my payment's going to be, but you could tell them, hey, this is what the payment's going to be. Saves you a lot of time. Kelly will tell you that. Any good loan officer will tell you that. Like sometimes people go, I can't, I'm going to jump in this. And then all of a sudden, boom. They go, well, I don't want that payment though, even though I'm approved. So these are things to think about. Sorry, I went longer than I thought, but I love talking about how, because this is a very important thing. You see so many agents waste so much time with buyers that just either one, they don't know what their payment's going to be, if they're approved, not approved, and you're just running out there and things falling apart in the end, and you don't want that to happen to you. All right, that's it for today. Now I'm gone. So have a wonderful day and a great week, and feel free to call me anytime. Bye bye.